Hello everyone, my name is Angel and on behalf of my groupmates, we are pleased to welcome you to our virtual tour for today's video.
The Philippines is an archipelago that consists of 7,107 islands. Its geological location and various topography makes it one of the countries that contains the largest and richest biodiversity. One of the several types of ecosystems that exists in the Philippines is the terrestrial ecosystem and the marine ecosystem. As the Philippines is geologically located near the equator, more primary source of energy, which is sunlight, is distributed within the existing ecosystems, thus making the country rich in natural resources and for many unique species to exist here. The terrestrial ecosystem in the Philippines consists of large rainforests and agricultural ecosystems. This serves as the country's largest source of water and all other natural resources, such as shelter, food, air, and raw materials. The marine ecosystem in the Philippines consists of mangrove coastal ecosystems and the coral reef ecosystem. Since the Philippines is a coastal line that covers a total area of 36,289 kilometers, with numerous bays, gulfs, and islets. The mangrove ecosystem serves as the breeding and feeding ground for both terrestrial and aquatic species. It is also there to protect the coastal lines and contribute greatly to the ecological balance of the Philippine biodiversity. One of the most prominent ecosystem in the Philippine biodiversity is its coral reef ecosystem, where it consists a diverse yet delicate biodiversity of different species of fish and other marine organisms.
Limiting factors of marine animals. Most aquatic organisms do not have to deal with the extremes of temperature. Instead, the main limiting factors are availability of sunlight and the concentration of dissolved oxygen and nutrients in the water. The sunlight in part allows the diversity of life seen in the ecosystem. So, the availability of that sunlight has direct impact on the productivity and biodiversity of aquatic ecosystem. Organisms that live in deep ocean must be able to withstand extreme water pressure, very cold water, and complete darkness. However, even here, thriving communities of living things can be found.
Another limiting factor for marine ecosystems are the illegal approach to hunting. An example of this is the dynamite fishing, which not only has its perks, but it also has its cons, especially to the corals of the ocean. And also, there is, just like us, the marine ecosystem also needs nutrients to survive. Not only to survive, but also to grow.
Kick.
We have three limiting factors of marine ecosystem. First is marine pollution. Marine pollution is the harmful effect caused by the entry into the oceans of toxic chemicals. It can promote the growth of algal blossoms, which can be toxic to wildlife and harmful to humans. Aside from that, it can low level of oxygen in the ocean lead to the death of aquatic animals such as penguins, dolphins, whales, and sharks, who plays an important role in marine ecosystems. This pollution causes by human activities that affect the production, number of population, and multiplications of species.
Hi everyone, in this part of the video we're going to talk about availability of food, water, and shelter.
These Filipino products are sold on the market for consumers to purchase. Food availability refers to the physical presence of enough food to feed an entire population. In the Philippines, 91% of the country's estimated 100.7 million people have access to at least basic water services. The majority of drinking water in the Philippines comes from well, commonly known as groundwater. The availability of shelter. In the event of natural disasters or conflict, shelter is a basic human requirement. It provides security, personal safety, and weather protection, as well as preventing illness and sickness. These houses are for persons who do not have a place to live.
Aside from the availability of food, water, and shelter, climate change, deforestation, hunting, and pollution are also the limiting factors of land-based organisms. Humans are increasingly influencing the climate and the Earth's temperature. Example of this is deforestation and pollution. When deforestation occurs, many of the trees are born or they are allowed to root, which result in releasing the carbon that is stored in them as carbon dioxide. This, in return, leads to greater concentration of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. Pollutants such as black carbon and ozone increase warming by trapping heat on the atmosphere, while others such as sulfur dioxide, forming light reflecting particles, have a cooling effect on the climate. Through human activities such as deforestation, hunting, and pollution, which is then results in climate change, it affects about 50 to 100 species of animals, which are being lost each day. This leads to the extinction of animals and plants on a massive scale. The animals not only lose their habitat and protective cover, but they are also pushed to extinction.
In this video, we are going to talk how human activities affect marine life. Besides serving as a source of economic opportunities, recreation, and food, surface water are also home to tens of thousands of sea creatures across the globe. This ranges from the smallest microscopic algae to the biggest whale. They all have a place they all call home. And that is the surface water. The oceans, the seas, the rivers, the streams, and the lakes. Unfortunately, these sea creatures are no longer safe in their homes. Human activities such as overfishing, oil spillage, ocean acidification, waste pollution, and climate change. Among other harmful practices account for the death of trillions of marine lives every year. What we fail to understand is that these harmful practices are not only driving the sea creature into extinction but also pushing the balance in the ecosystem to the far end.
I'm Cyril Amancio and my topic is about threats of land. So what are the threats of land? So first, there's a pollution. Polluted soil which leads to a loss of fertile land for agriculture. Then, waste production. Whenever waste is sent to the landfill, it can leak out toxins that eventually get into the soil. This can contaminate the soil around the area of the landfill, which can affect surrounding habitats. Plant and animal life may suffer from this exposure to toxic materials and chemicals.
We've been talking about negative things and factors that cause an adverse effect to our environment. How about things we do to conserve our marine ecosystem? Now let me suggest you simple and doable things to save our marine ecosystem. And the following things is first, to recycle. Second is proper waste disposal. Third is avoid overfishing and illegal huntings. Third is demand plastic-free alternatives. Fourth is reduce carbon footprints. And the last one and the most comprehensive step is give respect to marine life. I believe that when we respect marine life, we respect all living things. Understanding life leads to respecting it. We should always understand that marine life holds a big role why all living things is alive and in existence, including the humanity. Risking marine ecosystem is risking humanity and potentially the life of our planet.
By preserving land for future generation, land conservancies protects our food, water sources, clean our air, and offer wildlife habitats and improve communities. So this is the land conservation strategies that include regulate use of chemical pesticide, fertilizer, afforestation, and proper waste disposal.